Hi everyone. If you were upset that Haitians were just wandering into Canada and helping themselves to our welfare and healthcare programs, wait until you hear about this. An internal government document reveals border officials are anticipating another spike in illegal aliens crossing into Canada from the US. And let's be clear, these are not refugees from anything but justice. And now that the States is cracking down, they've decided to come in and treat Canada like an ATM. Just to recap, our leader, Justin Trudeau, invited all of this. And I don't remember him asking the public how they feel about living next to these loosely vetted, fully subsidized residents. It's an outrage. And of course, Canada's government and the propaganda press aren't blaming Trudeau, but cold-hearted US President Donald Trump. The US is on the verge of ending temporary protection status, or TPS, for citizens of 5 countries: El Salvador, Haiti, Nicaragua, Honduras, and Syria. And of those people that have committed crimes in the US and are fleeing to Canada, well, they're more like fugitives on the run. Trump's action is not about him being mean. He's simply following the will of the people that voted him in. Tens of millions of Americans who are tired of having their borders and welfare programs ransacked by people who broke into their country illegally have demanded this action. Tens of millions of people are in the States illegally, many using welfare programs and committing crimes. Side note, when a country like El Salvador is plagued with violence, why don't people blame El Salvador, the government, and/or the citizens for their problems? Why don't they demand El Salvador fix their country instead of demanding the West take in more people? Anyways, back to the report. The TPS designation allows foreign nationals who are already in the US to remain there as long as their home country is deemed unsafe due to temporary factors like armed conflict or natural disaster. If the status is lifted, they can be deported or detained. The Trump administration is now assessing whether protection status should remain in place for various countries. Extensions for Central American countries are considered unlikely by Canada Border Services Agency. They believe that ports of entry in Quebec, Southern Ontario, and the Pacific regions will be swamped, with claims rising leading up to and directly after each expiration date. The number of illegal aliens doubled in the month of August to 6,000, bringing the total to 12,000 this year. Customs and immigration officials say we're still seeing roughly 100 people a day. That's on the low side. The document talks about push factors, which include social media used to spread the word about coming to Canada, successful arrivals in Canada, and an increase in gang violence in El Salvador. Conservative immigration critic Michelle Rampal believes the Trudeau government must do more to deter people from coming into Canada, which includes swift deportation of failed asylum claims. Right now, it takes months for an asylum claim to be made, and taxpayers cover the costs and often house them and feed them while they wait. Canada has also granted some regions in Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, and Yemen an administrative deferral of removal, which means the Canadian government will not deport people back to unstable areas regardless of immigration status. This loophole is being viewed as a potential push factor because there are many that will take advantage. Border service agents have been under pressure to speed up screening at the border due to inadequate staffing. They don't believe the government is providing a clear direction. I'm not sure why we're even processing these claims to begin with. It's not our duty to accept everyone that comes across the border. We turn tons of people away every day. Americans with drunk driving records from the 70s can't get in. So how is this any different? We have laws and they must be abided. The Roxham Road entry point needs to be shut down. Why do we even have a military if they don't protect our borders? Station some soldiers there and order them to make sure nobody breaks into the country. This stuff is pretty basic. Also, Canada needs to stop it with the incentives. Don't incentivize behavior that you don't want more of. No more welfare for illegals. If you're handing out free money, please start with our own people, veterans, people with disabilities, the elderly, and children. People who wander into Canada through an unmarked border have no claim to taxpayer dollars or services. It's time for Canada to have a referendum on immigration policy. Open border policy is suicide for Canada. And my guess is Canadians who work hard for a living would shoot this idiotic policy down in a heartbeat. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, and hey, I'm on Patreon now. My details are in the description below. Have a great day.